Hello and welcome. When you use TextSmith Snagit and you do a screen capture, you'll typically be using that screen capture inside of the Snagit editor. So for example, if we were to click the print screen button, what we'll see is that our handles will open and then we can create our screenshot. Once we complete it, we'll get this image. We'll then capture the image, which will then open into the Snagit editor. Now once we have that image, we can begin to work with it within the tools in the editor. And in this course, we will work with those elements to manipulate our image. Now in its most basic form, what you'll do is you'll go to the File command and you'll save this image as something that you can use in the rest of your graphical content. However, there's much more that you can do than create images as they are when you capture them. And you'll see them here in your top menu, and they'll be within your menus. Now the same thing is going to be true when you capture a video. For example, if we were to record our screen and then allow the screen to record, we'll then be creating screencast video. We finish our recording. That video then is going to open up into our editor, and we have things that we can do with this video even within its final production. And we will also look at that in this course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the first video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to work with the File menu of the Snagit editor. And to do that, we're first going to go to the left-hand corner. We're then going to go to the File area. Now, one of the first things you're going to see here is that you can open up what's called either a new image or a new capture. Now, a new capture is going to bring the selection bars for a new capture. However, a new image gives you a new canvas where you can place other content that you have either already created or you can create new content. So we're going to click New Image. What we can do then is we can determine the size of our image and the color of the background. Now in those cases, what you're going to do is you're going to create a transparent background, and you're going to see that here with the checkered indicator. So we can determine that we want our image to be 500 pixels by 500 pixels. We can write that in. Once we have it, we can then click Create. That's going to give us a new canvas, and basically what we can do then in this canvas is we can start creating content inside of here or creating an image that we want to have. What we can also do is we can open up recent captures that we've already done. So what you're going to want to do is you'll notice here that your captures are being stated in terms of date. And so this is an indicator that what you want to do is when you complete a capture is to rename the file so that you'll have it, and if you want to use it again, you'll be able to go back and use Snagit to find it again. The File command allows you to duplicate a capture. So if you're working with something and what you want to do is you want to duplicate it so you'll have it for later, you can click this duplicate button. That's going to duplicate what's on your canvas, and then you can save it as another file. What you can also do is you can import content from either Google Drive or from OneDrive, as well as being able to export content. So for example, if you have your Google Drive connected, what you're going to do is to go to this import command. You're then going to click on Import from Google Drive. And if you have a file that is an image file, you can typically click on top of that file and then click on the Import button to bring it into your Snagit editor. And we now have our content to work with on our canvas. In the same vein, we can export content. So for example, if we click this Export button, we can export any content that we've already saved. Now let's close out of this image, and let's assume then that what we're going to do is we're going to save this file that we are currently working with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our file, we're going to go back to our export command, and we're going to see our file here in this area. We can add in any other files from any other locations that we want. And so we're going to go through the prompts. Once we have this export, we're going to choose effects in order to add to it. For example, even if what we wanted to do was to rotate our image 90 degrees clockwise, we can apply that when we export the file. what we're going to do is we're going to choose the area where we want the file to be exported as well as the format we want it to be exported in. We can determine what the file name is going to be. In other words, we can keep the file name or we can create an automatic file name. We go into the options, we can change the file name and the numbering. We'll then click OK. Then we'll click Next. And then we'll be able to export our file to a place that we'll be able to use it later. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, within the file command, there are two other areas that you're likely to use. First, if you go to the file command, you can print. And so you can print anything that you have in your current screen. What you'll want to do first is you'll want to go to the page setup. And this is where you'll determine how you want your print to look. So for example, if you wanted to reposition the image, you want to determine what kind of paper you're going to print the image on, and then you're going to click OK. If you want to have the file name on here, you can do that. Click OK. You can come back to the file command. You can do a print preview. You'll see how your image is going to look. Once you have your print preview available, you can then click the printer button. And if you're not going to print physically, you can print this image to an Adobe PDF file. Another thing you can do is to connect your mobile device. And what you're going to need to do first is you're going to need to download the mobile app from techsmith.com onto your mobile device. Now there are 3 mobile apps that you can use. You can use TechSmith Capture. You can use TechSmith Motion. And you can use TechSmith Fuse. And you'll notice that inside of your capture program, you can indicate that your shared destination is going to be your Snagit installation. You'll then click Connect New Device. You'll then need to scan the appropriate QR code. Once you do that, your device will be connected, and then your content will be shareable to your Snagit account. Inside of TechSmith Fuse, the process is the same. You'll click the Snagit. You'll then click Connect New Device. You'll come back to the same screen, and then you'll connect your device. The process is the same with TechSmith Motion. You'll click Get. You'll open up your app. You'll then click the Settings. You'll then click Snagit, and then you'll connect your new device. You'll then come back to your File command. You'll then click Connect New Mobile Device, and your device is now connected. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now there's also an edit menu, and the functions here are as you would expect them to be when you're working with an image on your canvas. However, one thing that you'll want to take note of is going to be your editor preferences, and this is going to help you to customize how the editor works when you're using it. The general preferences work with basic appearance. The editor preferences allows you to do things like spell check and determine the thumbnail size that you're working with. You have your sharing outputs available, as well as how your library functions. If you're unfamiliar with the library, as well as how the library actually functions, in the advanced section, you can determine that your editor will always run in the background, or you can take this out by default. Now, one thing that you'll want to be aware of are the file associations. And basically, depending on which kind of operating system you're using, you can determine that Snagit will be the default application to work with certain images and file types. So in this case, we're going to follow this function in Windows 10 by going to the Settings, Apps, and Default Apps. For example, if you know that you are going to want to work with Snagit as your photo viewer, you can change it here. You'll come to this area. You'll click Choose Default Apps by File Type. We can then come and click on the JPEG Photos area. We can then click on JPEG, and then we can make it so that anytime we open up a JPEG file, we can use the Snagit editor that we have. We can do the same thing with a PNG file. So for example, now when we go to a PNG file and we open this file, we'll be opening this file into our Snagit editor. And you'll see now that double clicking that file directly from our hard drive opens up into the default application, which is now Snagit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, typically when you're working with an image inside of your canvas, the menu you'll be working with most often will be inside of the image menu and the tools menu. And what you're going to find is a list of things that you can use in order to manipulate the image, add to the image, brand the image, and have it do what you want it to do. And what you'll notice is that there are 19 elements for you to use. There's also a favorites tab to allow you to indicate it. When you choose one of the tool elements and you click on top of it, what you'll see is that there will be properties of that tool in the right side menu. For example, you'll see the properties of the stamp tool. You'll see the properties of the pen tool and properties of the magnify tool. Now this course, we're obviously not going to go through each and every one of the tools. What we will do is to highlight some of the tools that you're likely to use most often. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to work with the image menu, and we're going to go to the tools menu. When we go to the tools menu, we're going to then look at the shape element. You're going to notice then that that gives us styles to work with. That means then each one of these styles can be operated with the tool properties. If we pick the style that we want and we work with the properties, what we can do is we can then draw that style here in this area, and then we have access to work with this style in whatever way we want to use it. For example, if we decide that what we want to do is we want it to be filled, we can do that, and then we can draw our shape on our canvas. And we'll have the shape in here as we specify it inside of the style area. We're now going to delete this shape. We're going to go back to our image menu. We're then going to the tools menu. We're now going to pick our stamps. And what you're going to notice in the stamps menu is that you have a search area. And basically what you want to do is you want to write in the theme of what you may be looking for. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write in what we're looking for. We're going to write in the word computer. And then you'll see the search elements there. We're going to select one of the stamps. We're then going to draw our stamp inside of our screen. We can click on the screen, we can size it up. And so the stamps allow you to place theme-related content on your screenshot. Demonstrating this again, we're going to write in the word office. And you're going to see an icon for office come up. We're going to click on that office. And because we had the area highlighted, you'll notice then that the image changes to the office. And so now we have worked with both the stamp as well as the shape tool. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another. Welcome back. Now Snagit gives you tools to work with the image that you have inside of your editor. And when you click on that image in order to bring it into your editing screen, what you can do is you can use the menus in order to work with the image. Now many of these tools are going to be across your top toolbar. And if you use them frequently, you can use them in this area. However, you'll find a comprehensive list of the tools inside of your menu. And so in this case, what we can do is we can go to the image area, and you're going to notice that there is a drop-down menu of tools. For example, one tool that we can turn on will be the arrow tool. And when you turn on any tool, what you're going to find is that you have a properties menu on your right side, as well in some cases as some styles. So the case with the arrow is that we'll choose a theme of a kind of arrow that we want to draw. So for example, we can use the urban theme, and then we can draw a certain kind of arrow. Now one of the things we can do is we can change the arrow using the tool properties. We can change the color. We can change the shadow. You're going to notice here that what we can do is we can change this inside of this area, or we can make it so that there will be no shadow here at all. We can change the line style, and we'll have a certain kind of arrow. Now, once you've decided on what kind of arrow that you want, what you'll need to do then is you'll need to draw that arrow. And when you place your cursor inside the image, you're going to notice that the cursor changes in shape. You're going to press down on your mouse button and you're going to be drawing the arrow. You can control the direction of the arrow by changing the direction of the mouse. That's a good idea once you've made a change to then save the image that you have. And you don't have to save it to any particular form. So for example, what we can do here is we can then save this image, and we're going to save it as a new Snagit image. And we're just going to call this a Snagit capture file. We're going to give this a new name. You're then going to notice that you have your Snagit capture file here in this area. And in order to refer back to it, you can click on it at any time to get back to it. So for example, one of the things we can do, if we want to go back to the image that's a PNG file, we can click on that image and we'll then have access to work with it. If we want to click on the Snagit file, we click on this one, and then that becomes part of our active window. So what we can do now with this window is that we can now add in other tools. So what we can do here is go to our image. We can then go to our tools. We can then add in text. What you're then going to see is you have here a text set of styles and a text set of properties. We can then change those properties to be what we want them to be. Once we have that, we can choose our theme, and then we can begin to write our text in. You'll notice here that the text is highlighted. When we place our cursor here, what we're going to do here is we're then going to draw here a box. And you're going to notice now that we have a text box. If we want to change the style of the font, we can do that. And then continue to update the image here in this area. So we've now looked at a few basic tools of working with your Snagit image. We'll now look at some of the other tools to help you to do more advanced work. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we can edit any image that we're working with by highlighting the element that we want to get rid of. In this case, when we highlight this word videos, you're going to notice that the text element is highlighted. All we'll need to do is to hit the delete button. Then that element goes away. If we take our cursor and we touch and click on top of this arrow, you're going to notice the arrow is going to highlight. The arrow styles will open. We can then click the delete button. That arrow then goes away. If we want to bring them back, we can click the undo button, and we can go backwards those steps in order to bring them back. We're going to go ahead and delete these elements. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our image menu, going to go to the tools, and then we're going to work with the callout element. You're then going to notice then that the properties menu is going to change. Now with callouts, you're going to be able to add in your callout based on what you place here inside of this area. If you want to change some of the colors that are going to be available to you, you can do that. Once you do that, then you're going to come to your area and you're going to draw your callout. When you do that, what you'll notice here with a callout is that you're going to have text available to you, the font sizing that you want. If you want to change the font size, you can do that. And basically, you have the element that you want here in terms of your callout. Once you have that callout, you can move it to any other place that you want to have on the screen. And you have control over how the callout looks. Everything up to even how the text is going to be aligned inside of the callout, as well as how wide it goes and how clear it is. So you have ultimate control over what you place inside of this area. In this case, we're going to delete this image from our Snagit capture. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to work with resizing your image as well as your canvas. And you can do that inside of this area. You're going to go to this menu. And basically, the first thing we're going to look to is the resize image link. Now basically, what we're going to do is we're going to determine what we want the size to be. Now, one of the things you want to note is that if you keep the aspect ratio locked, you're going to be able to keep the sizing consistent. You can also change the measurement to inches, centimeters, or percentage. We're going to start by changing the width. And when we change the width, what you're going to notice is that the height is going to change also. We also have advanced features. We can determine what we want the resolution to be for the image once we've completed it. We can then click Apply, and once we do that, then we have a new image. We can then go to our image, and we can save the image in the format that we want. We can also resize the canvas where we're working. We can click Resize Canvas. And what you're going to notice is that in this case, our canvas is the size of the image. However, we can resize the canvas, we can keep the aspect ratio, or we can widen out our aspect ratio. We're now going to click OK. You're going to notice now that we have a bigger canvas, even though we have an image that stays the same size that we can work with. What we can then do is we can trim the canvas down to the size of the image. We can go to this image link, we click Trim. That brings the size of the canvas down to the image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another. Welcome back. Now, when you have an image inside of your canvas, you can go to the image menu and you can rotate that image. And so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to hover over this area, and you'll notice that we have 4 choices for rotation. We can rotate clockwise, counterclockwise, or 180 degrees, or we can even determine a custom angle. Now, for the sake of this example, we're going to rotate this image counterclockwise. And you're going to see how this image rotates. And of course, if we want to undo it and go back to the way the image was, we can click the Undo button. We can also do in the image menu is by going to the image, we can turn on or off canvas snapping. What this basically means is that the canvas will automatically snap to the edges of the images on your canvas. If we turn off the canvas snapping and we open up an image, then the image will be within a specific canvas. If we turn off canvas snapping, then the image will fall within the canvas that you have available to you. We can also change the canvas color, and we can click this canvas color, and we can indicate what we want the canvas color to be, and we can do that by going to this area. We can either change based on the eyedropper, or we can choose our color. So in this case, we can choose our color, we can click OK, and then when we expand the image, what you're going to see here is that our canvas is going to open up and it's going to change to that color here in this area. So basically, we can control the nature of the canvas as well as the appearance of the selection by using these image control tools. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Snagit will organize and arrange all of the captures that you have done with the program, even in previous versions. And all you'll need to do is to go to your library area that you see on the left side. And if you click on Switch to Library, what you're going to see is that Snagit will arrange those captures in terms of images. So if you click on the Images link, what you're going to see is you're going to see all of the images that you have on your personal computer, on your hard drive associated with Snagit. You're also going to see any videos that you have created using Snagit, as well as any animated GIFs that you have used the capture program to create. You'll also see your captures organized by those that are going to be the most recent. You'll see them organized by date. And then you'll have a date organized selection of your captures here, and you'll see them organized by year. And if you go to the drop-down menu, you'll see them organized by month. You'll also be able to see any captures that you have associated with specific applications. So for example, if you took screen captures of Microsoft PowerPoint, you'll be able to see those captures here in this area. And if you have captures associated with specific websites, you'll see them here organized by website. And what you'll see here is the importance of using tags on your images. So if you want to tag your images, you'll be able to easily find them by coming to your library. So if we go back to your editor and we come back to the image on our canvas, what we can do is we can click the Assign a Tag link and we can assign a specific tag. We'll click this Create a New Tag, and then if we go back to our library and we check our tags, we'll see our tag organizing our image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to work with an image, in some cases, you're going to have to adjust the size of the screen or adjust the size of the canvas in order to see everything that you want to do. And you're going to use the View menu to accomplish that. Now, we're going to cover the Zoom portion of the menu in a separate video. Now, one of the things that you can do inside of your View menu is to change the background color. So for example, you can customize the color by going to this link, or you can choose one of the colors that are already available in order to change the background area. You can go back to the View command, you can change the background color to whatever you want it to be. And one of the other things you can do inside of the View menu is that you can choose whether to have your sidebar. You can have it removed. You can bring the sidebar back. You can also share the details of a particular image. And you'll be able to see those details inside of a window. You can close out of that window. You can make it so that the library shows, or you can make it so that the library does not show. Now, the bottom area, you're going to notice that you have all of your recent captures here in this area. You can make it so that those captures do not show. Now, one of the things you can do is you can show the actual size of your image. You can do that here by using this link. That'll bring you to the actual size of your image, and in those cases, you may not want to work with it at that level. If that's the case, what you're going to do is you're going to use the other menu, which is the Zoom In and Zoom Out menu, which we will cover in another video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when you're working with a particular image inside of your canvas and you need to work with a part of the image, you can use these scroll bars to go through different parts of the image. But in most cases, that will not allow you to see the entire image. When that's the case, what you want to do is you want to be able to go to the View menu, and you want to be able to use either the Zoom In or Zoom Out. And in this case, you can click Zoom In, and you'll be able to zero in on something that you may want to work with one of the tools, or you can zoom out. And the most convenient way would be to use the Control and minus buttons. And this will allow you to make your image continually smaller until you get it to the point where you want to work with it. Now, in other cases, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the View image, and you'll then want to zoom to fit. And so in this case, what you can do is you can click Zoom to Fit. This will bring your image inside of your canvas to the point where you can see the entire thing. You can come back, of course, to the actual size, or you can come back to use Shrink to Fit. That'll bring your image back inside of your canvas in order for you to work with it. Now, in order to use the pixel grid, you'll need to zoom all the way in. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the View command, you're going to click on Pixel Grid, and you're going to see the actual pixels in your image. And again, you have to be zoomed all the way in order to see the pixels at this level. Of course, you can turn off the pixel grid. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in the image menu, you also have an effects tab. And what you're going to find in the effects menu are things that you can do with the image in your canvas. For example, you can place a border, and you'll find border properties here in this area. And you can find other ways in which you can control the look of your final image. For example, we see edges and we see page curl. So if you want to control the way that the final image is going to process, you can use the effects command. What you can also do is you can arrange the elements in the image. For example, we have here a way of being able to use a line. In this case, we have a few elements inside of this menu. For example, we can flip this image vertical. We'll go back. We can come back here and we can flip it horizontally. So we can use both the effects menu and the arrange menu in order to create the image in its final form in ways that will allow us to display the image effectively. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to demonstrate one of the newer tools called the Move tool. And we can go inside of the image, and we're going to go inside of the tools, and we're going to go to the Move command. And basically, you're going to see this move area being highlighted. And what it will allow us to do is to move elements that we have placed inside of the image. Now, if you notice that this is a screen capture, so you don't have movable elements. However, one of the tools that Snagit gives us is called the Smart Move tool. And basically what it's going to do is to identify objects that we can move. So we're going to click on the Smart Move, and then it's going to identify certain movable objects inside of the image. Now this is going to take some time inside of your capture. Once you've done that, then Snagit will have identified certain objects which you can then start to move around. So for example, we're going to place our cursor inside of this gray area, and we're going to move this box. We're going to place our cursor here, and we're going to move this one. You'll now see there that we can move this image. And we can move other images around. So basically, what the Smart Move tool does is it helps us by identifying objects in our screenshot that we may want to move around and then manipulate in order to create the image that we want. If we double click inside of the text area, you're going to notice that the text is going to change. We can actually change that text. Again, even though this was a screenshot, we can change the text inside of this image. So basically, the Smart Move tool will allow you to get leverage over the image, even if you have a screenshot where you did not have movable images when you picked it up. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the tools that you'll use quite often when you have sensitive information on a screenshot is going to be the Blur tool. And you can find the Blur tool by going to the image area, going to your tools, and then if you come down to this point, you're going to see the Blur tool. And basically what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to draw a box over the area that you want to blur. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to then draw the box here in order to blur that area out. If we want to control the intensity, we can do that. And then you can control the level at which the blur occurs. And again, using the Blur tool is as simple as drawing a blur box over the area that you want to have blurred. Now in some cases, you can pixelate or you can change the nature of the blur by using some of the styles. You'll see the style change here, and you can use the styles as you see fit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to create a new canvas for a new image or multiple images, you're going to go to this File command. You're then going to go to this new area, and you're going to click New Image. Now, you can set the background of the image at the size at which you want and the color at which you want. Once you have your color and your size, you're then going to click Create. What you can then do is add your images to the background. Do that by dragging and dropping any of your recent images to the canvas. If you then want to change the color of the canvas, you can do that. You're going to go to your Image menu. You're then going to go to your canvas color. You can then change your canvas color. And once we have our image in our canvas, what we can do is we can go back to the Image menu, and we can then click Trim. That will then bring our entire screen down to the level of the image, which we can then save in the format that we want. What we can then do is we can click the Snap to Object area, and then we can save this image in the format that we want. Now in the next video, we're going to open a canvas and we're going to work with multiple images inside of one canvas. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you may want to have an image where you have multiple screenshots within that image. And to do that, you're going to go first to your File command. You're then going to go to the New Selection. You're then going to click on New Image. What you're then going to do is to size out a new image with a transparent background. We're going to set the size of our image, and then we're going to click Create. That's going to give us a canvas. What we're then going to do is we're going to shrink the size of the canvas into our view. We're going to hit Control minus, Control minus. Now we haven't really changed the sizing. All we did was change the view of our size. Now what we want to do is we want to import the images that we want to have inside of our canvas. And so you can find any previous captures. And once you find the captures that you want, you can begin to incorporate them into your image. And you can do that from the recent area by dragging and dropping. So in this case, we're going to drag and drop one of the images that we want to have inside of our canvas. We're then going to drag in a second image. And we can size these images the way we want them. Once we do that, what we can do then is we can then trim the canvas. And so we're going to go to our image area. We're then going to click Trim. That's going to bring our final image down to the size of the two images that we use to form this multiple image. Now what we can do then is we can then save this first as a Snagit file. All we need to do that is to hit Control S. We're then going to save the image. Then once we've archived the Snagit file, what we're going to do then is we're going to then go to Style. We're then going to save this now as the final format that we want. And so in this case, we're going to change it to a PNG file. We're then going to give this PNG file a name. And we're then going to click Save. We now have a brand new image that we can use in other images, and we've taken two of our screen captures to form one image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you can use any of the videos that you have in order to create both a GIF file or a PNG file with an individual frame. So when you're creating a PNG file, what you're going to do is you're going to forward to the point where you want to capture the frame, you're then going to click this link that says Save Frame as PNG. You're then going to want to size it into the place where you want it to be. If you don't like your changes, you can click Undo. It'll take you back to the place where you want. Then what we'll do is we'll go to our File command. We'll then save this as a PNG file, and then we'll give our PNG file a name. And then we'll click Save. Then our image will have been saved as a PNG file. Now if we go back to that individual video, we can find that video here in our recent content in the clipboard. We're going to click on top of that content. That's going to bring us back to the video. What we're going to do then is we're going to click this link that says Create an animated GIF from this video. We're then going to click the image, and then we're going to get this dialog box. We're then going to optimize for the purpose that we want. In this case, we're going to optimize for screen video. We're going to add in fade to black, and then we're going to click Create. That's then going to start the creation process. And then once we work through this creation process, we'll have our GIF file. What you'll notice then in our recent content is that you have a file here now that's indicated and called a GIF. You'll be able to click the play button so that you'll be able to see what it looks like. And then remember, because it's a GIF file, that this video is going to loop when you actually put it in. And so Snagit will do that as it will be inside of your PC. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, Snagit will allow you also to share your content to any of the existing TechSmith programs. For example, you can share to screencast.com, you can share to TechSmith Relay, you can also share to the most popular program among the TechSmith family to send your content to Camtasia. What you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to look to the options that you have before sending to Camtasia. So we're going to click the options, and what you'll notice is that you can always save in an individual place every single time, or you can ask Camtasia to prompt you for the file name so that you can determine where you want the image to be saved each and every time. So what we're going to do is we're going to prompt for the file name. This is the most conservative way of being able to send your content to Camtasia. We're then going to click OK. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the share. We're going to go to Camtasia. Then we're going to click on Send to Camtasia. We're then going to be prompted for the file name. We're going to give our file a name. We're then going to click Save. Then the file will open up automatically into Camtasia into the active window that you have. Now, if you don't have an active project open in Camtasia, then it will just open up into a brand new project. You can then add this to your timeline in order to be used inside of your Camtasia project. Now, one other aspect of the share menu is this. We can go to the share area, and if you have shared your Camtasia content with other individuals, you can click the share history. You'll be able to find the links to your shares that you set up through Screencast. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.